Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Tears for the dead in Gombe State as 9 youths killed on Easter Sunday are buried. State government imposes curfew following breakdown of law and order in the state capital. Troops of Operation World Stroke rescues 3 kidnapped victims in Benue State. Governor warns indigents against shielding those perpetrating crime. Federal government confirms commitment in reducing number of out-of-school children in the country, promises more funding for Unity schools. Anxiety mounts in Mozambique over the lives of thousands as Cyclone Kenneth traps many. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and go to youtube.com/channelsweb to view our videos. Watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature, so use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Nigerians may have to experience a prolonged power outage following the shutdown of 4 power stations belonging to the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. According to a report by Reuters, the power outage is caused by a gas pipeline leak that forced the closure of Egbe, Omotosho, Olorunsogo, and Paras power stations. The TCN said in a statement that the issue was caused by leakage on the Escravos Lagos system gas pipeline, and that pipeline has already been fixed and is currently being pressurized prior to resumption of gas supply to the affected power stations. With the onset of the rainy season, there is palpable fear of yearly flooding when the rains begin to gain momentum. Although with every successive incident of flooding, there has been talks of a lasting solution, the floodwaters persistently gain the upper hand. In this next report, our correspondent Charles Eruka examines the flood menace posed by oncoming rains.
The onset of the rainy season in Nigeria ushers in mixed blessings. Besides being an enabler for growing crops, the rains also make available the water that is necessary for human sustenance. However, when water becomes too abundant because of extremely heavy rains, it becomes a very bad master and very often a deadly one. In recent years, hardly any part of the country has been spared the ravages of flooding. From Jigawa State in the far north to the submerging of large swathes of Niger State in the north-central. The number of floods in the southeast to the swollen waters of coastal states of the Niger Delta.
If you check the history, they said in 2013, what happened is worse than what we are seeing today. From 2013 to date, we're talking about 5 to 6 years. And then it doesn't make sense you run away only to come back again. A permanent decision should be taken because no amount of money can be spent to secure a life.
The global phenomenon of climate change resulting in irregular weather patterns has been blamed for flooding in recent times. However, there are other man-made factors including poor urban planning and poor drainage systems, the consequence of which flood waters are given free rein to flow wherever they please. In the aftermath of last year's floods, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, visited Anambra State to see things for himself. The flood-hit area had been transformed into a river which he could only navigate by canoe.
We'll be working closely with the state governments, with all of the agencies of the federal government, to ensure not only relief, but also resettlement, and in many cases, bringing back livelihoods to the various communities that have been impacted.
And now the rainy season is here. And while it may be early days yet, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Nigerians may have to brace for what may be the inevitable, but most importantly, how well have the authorities put in place preventive measures? Hopefully, the answer to that question would be a positive one at the height of the rainy season. Charles Eruka for Channels Television News.
Like Charles said, the rains are here again, and people, especially those who live in the coastal areas, usually experience massive flooding. Already, residents in Delta, Anambra, and other states on the shores of the River Niger and Benue are seeking help from the authorities due to the flooding. Joining us live from our Abuja studios to discuss this is the Director General, Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency, Mr. Clement Nze. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Melinda.
Now, Mr. Nze, what is the forecast for this year? And can you tell us some of the states that will be likely affected, mostly affected by this flooding?
Once again, thank you for having me and having our agency to speak on this. It is quite timely to alert the nation at this point in time of what the flooding season could be in Nigeria. But please permit me, in the next 72 hours, precisely 30th of April, Tuesday next week, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, FNSE, will be making public the predictions for this year. He will be presenting it to the nation, what the flood outlook will be for 2019. So in the legal parlance, it might be what they call being sub judice, if I should go on air to talk about that before the date. However, there are indicators that states that are contiguous to rivers Niger and Benue, we know the states, they know themselves. Right from the entry of River Niger into Nigeria, that is Kebbi State, coming through Niger, Kwara, then Kogi, where River Benue meets River Niger, having traversed through Taraba, Adamawa, then coming into Benue, Lokoja in Kogi State. So all these states, then to Anambra Delta, Edo, Bayelsa rivers, they should be on watch. They should watch out for what could be the pattern of flooding this year. These are what we call river flooding. Apart from what has happened so far in the country, which may still continue to happen, and that is the urban flooding, which is aggravated by poor urban planning, building within the floodplains, and so on and so forth. So those ones will still continue to occur. But in our agency, the Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency, we have made some predictions of what is going to happen or likely happen for 2019. This will be made public on the 30th of April, Tuesday next week.
Now, from experience, the flooding in some of these areas that you tried to mention is usually severe. Will it be any different this year?
Well, we can't quite say for now, because the two transboundary rivers, Niger and Benue, it depends on what happens upstream. For instance, River Niger, which it takes us from Futajolan Highlands in Guinea, passing through Mali, Niger, and a bit of Benin Republic. And then it also carries whatever is coming from Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, which it drains into River Niger. So it depends on what happens those are upper portions of River Niger. And then what is happening in Cameroon, in Chad, that's for River Benue. These are the things that will determine what we are going to see in Nigeria in 2019 in terms of river flooding. So we can't really say for sure. But what the beauty of it is this: you can predict river flooding. We have so many telemetric measuring instruments on rivers Niger and Benue and their major tributaries. We monitor them on a daily basis. We get information. We know the propagation of the flood, the evolution, right from the upper reaches of River Niger, over about 4,200 kilometers before everything empties into the Atlantic Ocean in Nigeria. So we can give you answers to these ones to know what it will be we can predict it and we'll tell you what it is. But that of urban flooding, it can come suddenly. And then depending on the drainage system, depending on the land use pattern, whether people are building within the floodplains, whether people have cleaned their drainages, and so on and so forth. The issue of interlocking everywhere, pavement everywhere. These are the things that can aggravate urban flooding, which you may not easily predict scientifically. But that of river flooding, yes, we can tell you what is happening there at the right time. And like I mentioned earlier, we are coming up earlier enough this year. In 2017, we made it public in July. 2018, it was in May. But this year, it is in April. So as we, move towards the jazz month, the July, August, September months, when the flooding occurs mainly in Nigeria, we have the data we can, be feeding Nigerians with to alert them of what to do.
Thank you so much.
What to expect.
Many thanks for sharing your thoughts with us, Mr. Clement Nze. The platform, a non-profit initiative of the Covenant Christian Center, is set to hold its 2019 May Day edition. And this year's theme, tagged the drivers, enablers, and obstacles to our growth, will examine the personal, organizational, and the national strategy necessary to facilitate growth in the country.
Get involved, things are going to change.
The Platform Nigeria, powered by Covenant Christian Center in 2017, aims to facilitate growth in the areas of personal capacity, productivity, as well as to foster national development.
It is time to deliver Nigeria from dinosaurocracy.
Since its inception, the event is held twice a year, the first on May Day and the other on Independence Day.
We have noticed gaps, especially.
This year's May Day edition will look at the strategies to adopt in propelling growth and development of capacity.
We want to clarify in the minds of people, right, on a personal, corporate, and national level, what are the things that will drive your growth, what are the things that will enable your growth, so you don't confuse what will enable with what will actually drive the growth.
The convener gives an insight into what to expect at the discuss.
It's about the development of people in terms of their personal life, entrepreneurship, in terms of cooperation, and then also how it can influence the nation in getting certain trends.
The platform also has operational mentorship program planned out.
3 years ago, we had a spin-off called the Platform Young Professionals Bootcamp, which basically takes applications and picks 300 of the highest potential 20 to 25-year-olds in the country and gives them 5 days in residence boot camps. And they get trained, they get equipped, they get the advice, the mentoring that they need in order to be able to contribute and in order to be able to get to more quickly fulfill the potentials that they have.
The Platform Nigeria is a non-profit initiative that has continued to evolve into a full-scale global media event with several speakers stimulating and challenging the minds of the Nigerian people, particularly the youth.
When the news at 10 returns, the curtain falls on the 4th edition of the African Drum Festival, which took place in Abeokuta, Ogun State. That's in a moment. Join us again.